So I'll tell you my feeling about this time, this sacred time, and then we'll have a few minutes to go into what is our intention for this time. So let's just begin by having a little prayer to the Star Mothers. So if you would close your eyes gently for a moment, take a breath, and another, and another. 3 nice big breaths. And then make the 4th one that comes in through your crown chakra, down through your whole body, fill up your heart, and exhale through the soles of your feet. As you ground yourself into the Great Mother, the crystalline grid of Gaia, our beautiful planet, as we say hello to her and thank you. So let's do a couple more breaths of that, of grounding, of connecting. And here we are. Dear Star Mothers, thank you for stepping up to this circle with us, around us, bringing this unique opportunity to me, to all of us, as you have so many times in the past, and I'm sure will continue to in the future. Thank you for opening this door, opening this gateway, this time, this specific time of our cycle, so that we can tap into what is available to us, what is beautiful in the elegant energy of this time of year. Take another breath. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Hello, everyone. Good evening from Mountain Time here in Tucson, Arizona. We've had a blustery day as we're changing from a nice warm winter to a cold winter. That seems to be the thing here, but also the changes that are happening, I follow astrologically and astronomically, seem to come with shifts in the weather also. So here we are at this midpoint, and for me, this is new, this is a first, and tonight we're together at the recommendation of the Star Mothers, and you know I'm not one to take those recommendations lightly, my sacred assignments. And this began last year, at the end of the year, probably September, when they wanted me to do a full wheel of the year, which is 8 seasonal celebrations. Now, we have done in the past a beautiful celebration called the 13 Moons, and we did a full moon celebration every year, and the 13th was the end of that calendar. But now we're looking at something closer to the Celtic calendar. And when the Star Mothers said they wanted me to do this, I said, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything. Of course, I could study about it and learn, which I have, and it's fascinating. But what the Star Mothers really wanted me to focus on, instead of specifically that lore, which is very beautiful, because this is the time of year of Bridget. And what the Star Mothers wanted me to do was bridge it from that time, from Lemuria to the Celtic tradition to the now. So they said to me to bridge it last September. And it wasn't until the other day when I was reading Beth Gaida's post about Laura Barber, who's our connection in Scotland, that I started to understand more of the Celtic time, and I saw the name Bridget. So I thought, those tricky star mothers, they're always feeding me information before I realize it. And I appreciate that. So what we're doing at this time of year is we've come from the winter solstice, and we're not to the spring yet, but we're definitely out of the darkest part of the winter. And we are like little seeds under the soil that are, starting to, instead of just sitting there waiting and hibernating and, just quiet and cold and, absorbing a few nutrients and, as a seed, or us, that we've gone into winter when in the northern hemisphere, when we're pretty contracted, our weather's contracted. It's easy for our thinking to get contracted. In the southern hemisphere, like Lisa, you're having summer. So you're in the big expansion time, or moving into the big expansion. So this time is that midpoint between winter solstice and spring equinox, when the light's returning and the seeds begin to stir. So the bridging is, we're bridging from the winter to the spring, and this is the time. So what seeds did you plant in the winter? And what is the opening that you have created for them now? What is the expectation or the prayer that you have from this? Let's just take from now, the first day of February here, to the equinox in March. So almost 2 months, a month and 3 weeks. So we have December, February, end of March. And what will be born? What will those seeds do as they germinate and as they come into leaf and as fruits are formed, metaphorically, for us? So this would be a really good time for you to take a few moments. You can write it down if you'd like, and really have it somewhere where you can read. If you have a journal, that's really nice. And while you do that, I want to read you what the Star Mothers gave me earlier today. They said, let us stretch our roots down deep as we reach for the sun where new beginnings are found. Sweet buds full of promise, full of hope, as we release the darkness of the season past. We are ready to germinate, ready to create, ready for light. Sovereignty for humanity. As we reach, as we stretch, full of hope, full of promise, to the light. Thank you, Star Mothers. That was just beautiful. And I appreciate that. We have them to help move into this new alignment. I'm going to turn this a little so you can see. So my altar tonight is green, light green, for the new beginnings. And I've seen some people who have posted pictures of crocuses coming up through the snow. And that's this time of year. And of course, we'll have more winter. But because the light is returning, so is our hope, and so is our faith in what's next. So I also placed pussy willows here because for me, where I grew up, those were really the first sign of spring, pussy willows and forsythia. So I have those. And the white is for the snowdrops, another flower that comes in the snow. And Laura was telling me that that's what happens in England. It's the snowdrops are the first flowers to open. Then, of course, the selenite and the white crystals. And then an angel looking over my shoulder and a dragon, the dragon named Daisy. So, and always the Lemurian activation codes so that we can have that. So I'd like to have the Star Mothers join us in a channel for this time of opening and new intentions, because that really is what the guidance is for this, all of this, these midpoint ceremonies and these solstices and equinoxes will be the Star Mothers and their teachings about these times of years. And not only do they want us to have more celebration, they want us to have more community. And they want us to be able to create community from these meetings and connect. And this is a big group tonight, and I'm very excited about that. And I'd love to connect with all of you. And it's interesting because this group is the size that, on average, that Lee Carroll Cryon and I would teach at on a regular basis in those years that we traveled together. So I'm in my mind seeing this as a live audience, and all of you, I'm in the room with you, and the Star Mothers are in the room with us. And we've been practicing something and listening to channels all day, and the energy just is lifting as we do that. And I feel that, you know, this would be the time at the end of my Lemurian Sisterhood Sacred Circle on a Saturday night, where the Star Mothers would give their wisdom. So the timing is pretty beautiful about this. Of course it is. That's what they love to do. They always know before I ever do what the plan is. And I've learned to trust that. So as we create our intentions for these blossoming leaves and fruits, flowers and fruits for the next 6 weeks, 5, 6, 7 weeks, what is it that you started in your cave time in December? What is it that was part of your thought process, if you can think back to then? And if you joined us for that ceremony, the winter solstice ceremony, it was beautifully powerful. And the Star Mothers had us create our intentions, and it was a whole ceremony. You can find that on, where can they find that, Mindy? Oh, on my website. Yeah, you can find that, and you can still watch it if you'd like. But they had us speak our intentions into water. And then they had us use that water that was in that bowl for plants, or for outdoors, or for indoor plants, because it was very sacred water. And that was the first time they've ever done anything like that. So I expect from what they've said that there will be more unique ceremonies coming up that will bring all of the elements together. So tonight we have, of course, the fire element and then the earth element with all these crystals, because what we're bridging in the time of Brigid is we're bridging the addition of the sun, the fire, and the earth element with all these crystals. So the sun is shining down onto the earth and activating the seeds. And so that translates as a metaphor into what is it doing with us and for us. So those ideas that happened in the cave in winter solstice are now getting cosmic energy. They're getting energy from the sun as it beams to us through the cosmos. So you may feel like you're not doing anything, but you know, something is, and it's that sun energy, and it's the planetary energy, and of course it's the Star Mother energy. It's always the Star Mother energy. Isn't that the best? Yes. Okay, so let's begin with these words from the Star Mothers. And they're asking that each person be in a place of receiving. And they're showing me faces. They're showing me faces that are open and shining. So that must be you. And hearts that have this really beautiful light aura around them. And that hands that are open also, that are, it's almost like you're juggling energy. So they're showing me that is how they see you, and how they would like you to see yourself as receptors of light and love and this time of the year and this energy. And they're reminding me that this is not something that we've done. We did not do these kinds of things in Lemuria, but we have done them since. And they're saying that in honor of those who were us, since we're our own ancestors. And perhaps this brings up Akashic memories for you, and why you're drawn to do this is that you have done it before. So let's take a deep breath, and through all of that wonderful light that's shining from you and on you, as the Star Mothers step forth. Dear shining ones, yes, indeed, this is a unique time, and a unique time in your world. There is a year ahead of you, as you know, from this past moon that happened, of very high energy and very focused energy, and energy that is, it has a focus that is deliberate and intention towards the growth of the old soul, and not necessarily something that will be a party. But we ask you to please always look for the light in all situations, because it's always there. All situations. There is always, as dark as the dark is, there is that much light. And as this time, this particular celebration, you are returning on your planet in the north to the light. And if you would keep that in front of your thoughts and in your heart, your journey through this next calendar will be much more gentle and easeful. There will be opportunities abounding, challenges, but opportunities for bringing light all the time. And we will remind you also every chance we get, because that's who you're here to be. You, as a collective of old souls, of Lemurian Akashic rememberers, are here to bring the light, to be the light, to shine the light, to bring the light, whatever the situation is. It doesn't matter. It will always be improved by light. Very practical solution, yes? One of the reasons we give Mele'ha these opportunities is so that she can remember in her own life, and not just to teach this, but to live it first. Teach it, live it, teach it. And she will tell you that sometimes there is a point of rest, maybe stagnation, maybe stuckness, maybe a lull, where the teachings from us stop. And she gets concerned. But now she understands, and we are saying this as an example so that you may also, that all of those points in time, the tick before the talk, the night before the day, all of that is so necessary. And it's only the mind, it is only your mind that is programmed to worry and be fearful and not trust the process, the journey, the flow, whatever you want to call it. That is where you sort of edge towards going off the rails. And really, there is no need for that. You are loved and protected all the time, all the time, all the time, no matter what it looks like. So remind each other, help each other, surround each other, uplift each other. That is what community is about. Not everyone will feel good all the time. You might be in the bottom, the trough of the wave, or you might be halfway up or on the top. But others will be in the other places, and they will remind you, they will give you a hand up, they will shine your light on you, they'll reflect it back to you. There's not a time where this is not important. Double negatives, yes. It's always important, always. And you're the ones. You were born for this. You're the ones that the earth has been waiting for. You are the ones that have been opening the way your whole lives. Your whole lives. And of course, now that there are so many of you who are walking this path, who are doing these teachings, these works of light, it's multiplying. It is exponential. It is quantum. Not just 1 and 1 equals 2, or 2 and 2 is 4. It multiplies again and again, so that you are never just one. There was always more than another 1 or 2, always. It is easy to go into the place of being alone and isolated in your misery, or your fear, or your doubt, or your feeling of unimportance and rejection, not being seen, not being loved. It's a simple, slippery slope downhill. But in Lemuria, we were in community all the time. We were not in our little houses here and there by ourselves or with others that we don't feel we can speak to. And then also there is your desire to speak, to be healed, to reach out, to walk up to the darkness and say, look, I see you. I know what you're up to, but I'm not going there. It's not going to work. I'm phoning a friend. I am writing a friend. I am calling on the Star Mothers, etc. You know what we mean. And that is the community, the unity that you have available to you in groups like this. You have this. This is not just a one-shot deal where you're here for the night with Mele'ha and each other on some screen. It's deeper than that. It's more than that. Come back again to the community. Mele'ha has dozens of communities you can be on social media with, and also classes where you can meet each other and you can support each other and you can take what you learn and be healed and heal others and be that beacon that you were born to be. And we have strayed very far from the subject of tonight, but we are making a bridge between the dark and the light. That bridge happens inside of each person. And though it may not look like it to many, it's always happening. You never know what private conversations people are having with themselves between the dark and the light. So for you, empaths, healers, Sha women, priestesses, way showers, lighthouses, see to your own light. Tend to your light. Find your tribe that tends to your light, as you, in turn, will tend to others as these precious seeds are pushing their way up through the soil so that their shining faces may be in the sun and they may grow and flower and fruit and feed others. That is who we see you as, beloved shining ones. Little seeds growing, flowering and fruiting and feeding with your light. Take a breath. Dear shining ones, as we prepare to step back, we ask you this. Between now and our next celebration, in spring, we ask you to nourish and nurture the intention that you created tonight. And it might be different than the one you created in the winter. It might have morphed into something completely different, and that's great. But bring your love, spread your light on it, fill it with your intention, and watch the magic unfold. You have that. It's with you, it's in you, and it's beginning to come forth. So for now, until then, we love each of you so greatly, our children, our divine children. That deep mother love, holding you, loving you, lighting your way. We step back. Ooh.